Captain Allison Warren stared at the massive alien ship through the command center's viewport. It hung in orbit above Earth like a dark cloud. 6 days had passed since the Vex Dominion arrived, and something felt wrong. "They're too polite," she said to Major Nathan Cole, who stood at her side. "Too agreeable." Cole nodded. His hand never strayed far from his sidearm these days. "I noticed how their guards keep scanning our defense systems." The meeting room buzzed with activity as Earth's leaders prepared for another round of talks with the aliens. The Vex had appeared without warning, their fleet of 30 ships entering Earth's orbit with advanced technology humans could barely understand. "Ambassador Davis thinks we're making progress," Warren said, though her voice lacked conviction. "Ambassador Davis is an optimist," Cole replied. He pointed to a screen showing the alien delegates. "Watch how they move. It's like they're playing a part." The Vex stood nearly 7 feet tall with gray-blue skin and 4 arms. They wore what they called diplomatic attire, but Cole had noted it could double as light armor. Dr. Elaine Murphy joined them, carrying her tablet. "I finished my behavior analysis. Their micro-expressions don't match their words. In humans, we'd call that lying." Warren felt a chill. "Forward this to command immediately." "Already did," Murphy said. "But General Phillips thinks I'm being paranoid." Cole checked his watch. "The Vex requested another tour of our satellite defense network today." "Which was denied," Warren said. "Yes, but why ask at all?" Cole's eyes narrowed. "They've been gathering intelligence on our weaknesses." Murphy's tablet beeped. She looked down and her face paled. The Vex ships just powered up their main systems. Warren reached for her comm unit. "This is Captain Warren. All personnel to battle stations." "This is not a drill." Alarms began to sound throughout the facility. "They're moving," Cole said, watching the tactical display as the Vex ships broke formation, spreading to cover major cities. Warren grabbed the emergency line to the Joint Chiefs. "Sir, the Vex are positioning for attack. Request immediate." The first blast hit New York. On the screens, a beam of intense blue energy sliced through the city's center. Buildings collapsed. Then Chicago, Los Angeles, London, Beijing. Within 2 minutes, 30 major cities worldwide were under bombardment. "They're targeting population centers," Cole said through gritted teeth, "not military installations." "They want to break our will to fight," Warren replied. "Cut off command and cause panic." The building shook as Washington, D.C. took a direct hit. Emergency lights flickered on. "Bunker protocol," Warren ordered. "Get everyone below." Cole was already moving, directing personnel toward the elevator that would take them to the underground facility known as the bunker, built during the Cold War and recently upgraded. "What about countermeasures?" Murphy asked as they hustled people into the elevator. "Our weapons can't penetrate their shields," Warren said. "We need time to analyze their technology and find weaknesses." The ground trembled again, stronger this time. Dust fell from the ceiling. "That hit was closer," Cole said. "They found us." Warren's comm unit crackled. "Captain, this is Admiral Hayes. Get to the bunker. You're now part of Contingency Response Team Alpha." "Yes, sir," she replied. "What are our orders?" "Survive," Hayes said. "Gather intelligence, and when the time comes, make these bastards regret the day they picked a fight with humanity." The building shook violently. Part of the ceiling collapsed, blocking the main hallway. "This way," Cole shouted, leading them through an emergency route. They'd reached the elevator just as the power failed. The backup generators kicked in seconds later. As the elevator descended deep underground, Warren looked at the faces around her, scared but determined. "We're at war," she said simply. "These aliens think they know what humans are capable of. They have no idea." Murphy clutched her tablet. "What happens now?" Cole checked his weapon. "Now, we get nasty." The elevator reached the bunker, a massive underground complex designed to survive nearly any attack. As the doors opened, Warren squared her shoulders. Now we fight back, she said. And God help the Vex when humanity shows them what hell really looks like. 6 months had passed since the day the sky fell. The bunker had grown from an emergency shelter into the heart of human resistance. Deep underground, safe from Vex scanners, survivors planned and prepared. Dr. Elaine Murphy pinned another note to her wall of Vex behaviors. Once a behavioral psychologist studying workplace dynamics, she now led the alien psychology division. They patrol in perfect patterns, she explained to Admiral Hayes. Same routes, same times, every day. Hayes studied the maps and timing charts. They're predictable. Exactly. Murphy tapped her pen against a photo of a Vex soldier. They think in straight lines. They'd follow orders without question. No improvisation. Lieutenant Doug Franklin entered the room, carrying a tablet. Franklin had been a tactical specialist with the Marines, known for finding enemy weaknesses. I've been studying their battle formations, he said. There's a pattern in everything they do. Even their weapons fire comes in predictable sequences. Hayes smiled for the first time in weeks. That's something we can use. In another section of the bunker, Captain Warren and Major Cole reviewed reports from resistance cells around the world. London Group took out a Vex patrol using homemade explosives, Warren said. Sydney team captured Vex communication equipment. Cole nodded. People are fighting back with whatever they have, but the Vex are bringing in something new. He showed Warren footage smuggled from the ruins of Chicago. Strange Vex units moved differently from the others, hunting, searching buildings, finding hidden humans. Eradicators, Cole said, designed to root out resistance cells. Warren studied the footage. They're adapting to us. But slowly, Cole replied. They didn't expect us to last this long. In the science wing, engineers worked around the clock studying captured Vex technology. Dr. Peter Nguyen, an expert in communications, made a breakthrough. Their communication system is incredibly advanced, he told Hayes, but also rigid. I can intercept their signals. Hayes leaned forward. Can you disrupt them? Better, Nguyen smiled. Given time, I might be able to send false orders. 6 levels down, the war room buzzed with activity. Maps showed Vex-controlled territories in red, most of the planet's surface. Green dots marked resistance strongholds. We're gathering strength, Hayes told the assembled leaders. Every day, more survivors reach our outposts. But we need weapons, Cole argued. We can't fight them with hunting rifles and improvised explosives forever. Working on that, Hayes said. He activated a screen showing satellite images of a mountain range. We've located Paul Jackson. The room went quiet. Jackson was a legend, a weapons designer whose work was considered too advanced, too dangerous for conventional warfare. He's alive, Warren asked. Hayes nodded. And based on intercepted Vex communications, he's been causing them headaches with custom-designed weapons. We need what he's building, Cole said. Agreed. Hayes turned to the map. Major Cole, Captain Warren, you'll lead a team to bring him in. We need his brain and his weapons. Later that night, Warren found Murphy staring at her wall of Vex psychology notes. You should sleep, Warren said. Murphy shook her head. I found something important. The Vex, they're scared of us, of humans, after what they did to our cities. Yes, Murphy pointed to incident reports. When we deviate from patterns, when we do the unexpected, they hesitate. They've never faced a species that adapts so quickly. Warren considered this. They thought knocking out our infrastructure would end the fight. They don't understand human nature, Murphy said. They expected surrender after their show of force. Instead, we're getting more creative, more dangerous. Warren smiled grimly. That's the thing about humans. Push us to the edge, and we don't cower. We push back harder. In orbit above Earth, the Vex command ship received reports of another failed patrol. The Supreme Commander studied the growing list of losses with confusion. This shouldn't be happening. Humans were supposed to be broken by now. Instead, they were becoming more unpredictable, more aggressive. For the first time, the Supreme Commander felt something unexpected: doubt. On Earth, Hayes gathered his command staff. "We're launching Hell's Response next week. Operation Hornet's Nest begins tomorrow." Cole checked his weapons. Time to show the Vex what happens when humans get truly nasty. The mountain air bit cold as Captain Warren led her team through dense forest. Satellite imagery had located Paul Jackson's bunker in this remote area of the Appalachian Mountains. They had hiked for 3 days, avoiding Vex patrols. 2 kilometers ahead, Major Cole whispered, checking the map. "But we've got company." Through binoculars, they spotted a Vex scout ship hovering over the trees ahead. "They're looking for him too," Warren said. "We need to move faster." Laura Ortiz, formerly of Special Forces, took point. She had survived the fall of Miami by leading civilians through the Everglades, outsmarting Vex patrols for weeks before finding a resistance cell. "This way," she said, finding a barely visible path. "Stay low." They moved through a narrow ravine, then up a steep cliff face. At the top, Cole spotted a small metal door built into the rock. "That has to be it," he said. Before they could approach, automated guns emerged from hidden slots in the rocks. "Stop right there," a voice called over a speaker. "Identify yourselves." Warren stepped forward. "Captain Allison Warren, North American Space Defense Force. We're here on Admiral Hayes' orders." Silence followed. Then the guns retracted and the metal doors slid open. "Get in quick," the voice said. "Vex scan this area every 20 minutes." Inside, they found a large cavern converted into a workshop. Machines hummed. Weapons of unusual design lined the walls. In the center stood Paul Jackson, a man in his 60s with wild gray hair and intense eyes. "So Hayes is still alive," Jackson said. "Good. I've been busy." He led them through his workshop, showing them his creations. "Standard weapons barely scratch Vex armor," Jackson explained. "So I had to get creative." He picked up a rifle-like weapon with glowing blue components. "This uses the Vex's own shield frequency against them. Turns their protection into a weakness." Cole examined it. "How did you figure out their shield frequency?" Jackson smiled. "I captured one. Took it apart. Learned how it works." Warren looked impressed. "You captured a Vex soldier alone." "They're predictable," Jackson shrugged. "Set the right trap, and they walk right in." He showed them more weapons, grenades that disrupted Vex neural patterns, darts that interfered with their vision systems, and his masterpiece, the Hellbringer. "This beauty," Jackson said, patting a large cannon-like device, "creates a localized EMP tuned specifically to Vex technology. Fries their systems but leaves our tech working." Alarm suddenly blared. Jackson checked a monitor. "Vex patrol incoming. Earlier than usual." He frowned. "They're changing patterns. That's new." Outside, 3 Vex ships descended toward the mountain. "They found us," Ortiz said. Jackson moved quickly to a wall panel. "Time for Plan B." He pressed a sequence of buttons, and part of the cavern wall slid away, revealing a tunnel. "This leads to an underground facility 2 miles from here," he explained. "Built in the 1960s for Contingency X protocols." "Contingency X-U?" Warren asked. "The government has been preparing for possible hostile contact since the Cold War," Jackson said. Secretary Morris activated the protocols the day after the Vex arrived. As they loaded Jackson's prototypes onto carts, the cavern shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. "They're bombing the mountain," Cole said. Jackson grabbed a case labeled Hellbringer Schematics and handed it to Warren. "Even if we don't make it, these must reach Hayes." They rushed into the tunnel as another explosion rocked the mountain. The workshop entrance collapsed behind them. "Keep moving," Jackson urged. "The facility ahead has everything we need to mass-produce these weapons." They hurried through the dark tunnel, pulling carts loaded with prototypes. After 20 minutes, they reached another metal door. Jackson entered a code, and it opened to reveal a massive underground complex. "Welcome to Black Mountain," Jackson said, "one of America's best-kept secrets." Inside, they found a fully equipped weapons manufacturing facility. It was built to create weapons for scenarios exactly like this one, Jackson explained as they entered. Alien invasion was scenario number 3. Warren activated her secure comm. "Admiral, this is Warren. We found Jackson and something else, a facility that can arm the resistance." Hayes' voice came through with static. "Excellent work. What's your status?" "Ready to start production," Warren replied. "And sir, the Vex have no idea what's coming." As they unpacked Jackson's designs, Cole smiled for the first time in months. "Finally," he said, "we can give those aliens a proper human welcome." Marine Sergeant Kimberly Donovan crouched behind the burnt-out shell of a car. Her 5-person team waited silently as a Vex patrol marched down the street. The aliens moved in perfect formation, weapons ready, scanning methodically. "Like clockwork," Donovan whispered. 3, 2, 1. On cue, a small explosion erupted 3 blocks away. The Vex patrol immediately turned and moved toward the distraction. "They always respond the same way," she said. "No one stays behind to guard their position." Her team slipped from cover and headed in the opposite direction. Their target, a Vex communication relay. 2 weeks had passed since Jackson's weapons entered production. Small resistance cells across the country now carried his specialized equipment. Operation Hornet's Nest was in full swing. At the bunker, Admiral Hayes studied reports from dozens of teams like Donovan's. "Hit-and-run tactics are working," he told his staff. "The Vex don't adapt well to guerrilla warfare." Dr. Murphy nodded. "They're built for conventional battles, organized, planned engagements. This frustrates them." Lieutenant Franklin pointed to a map. "We've destroyed 17 communication relays. Their coordination is suffering." In another section, Dr. Peter Nguyen made a breakthrough with the captured Vex technology. "We can now intercept their transmissions," he announced to Hayes, "and I can insert false information." Hayes smiled. "Start small. Redirect their patrols away from our supply routes." Nguyen went further. "I can make them see things that aren't there." In Detroit, Donovan's team reached the communication relay. They planted Jackson's new EMP devices around the base of the tower. 30 seconds, Donovan said, setting the timer. As they retreated, a Vex dropship appeared overhead. A spotlight caught them in the open. "Run," Donovan shouted. They scattered as energy weapons fired from above. 2 team members went down. The EMP devices activated. A pulse of blue energy spread outward. The Vex dropship's lights flickered, then went dark. It dropped from the sky, crashing into the relay tower. Donovan helped her wounded teammates. "That wasn't supposed to happen," she said, "but I'll take it." Back at Black Mountain, Jackson studied the downed Vex ship brought in for analysis. "Their technology is incredible," he told Warren, "but they have weaknesses we can exploit." He showed her a new design, smaller portable weapons that could be mass-produced. "Every resistance fighter can carry these," he said. "We can arm everyone." The news spread through human outposts. "We can hurt them now." But the Vex were not idle. At their main base, the Vex commander faced increasing losses. The rigid alien mind considered new tactics. "The humans adapt too quickly," the commander told his officers. "We must change strategy." In a sealed laboratory, Vex scientists worked on a new weapon, a biological agent designed to target human DNA. "If we cannot defeat their fighters," the commander decided, "we will eliminate their species." Dr. Catherine Rodriguez worked in a hidden lab beneath a hospital in Boston. Once an immunologist researching cancer treatments, she now led a team studying Vex biology from tissue samples. "Their cellular structure is fascinating," she told her team, "but also vulnerable to Earth bacteria." A resistance runner brought urgent news. Vex ships were deploying something in the air over human-controlled areas. Within hours, people began falling ill. High fever, difficulty breathing. The engineered virus spread rapidly. This is their new weapon, Rodriguez realized, examining blood samples from victims. Working around the clock, her team raced to find a treatment. Days passed. The death toll mounted. Then, something unexpected happened. The virus mutated in human hosts. When it spread back to Vex through captured prisoners, the aliens began dying. Their weapon is turning against them, Rodriguez told Hayes over the secure line. The virus has evolved in our bodies and become lethal to Vex. Hayes called an emergency meeting. We need to weaponize this mutation. Cole looked troubled. That's biological warfare. They started it, Hayes replied. And now we have a choice. Use every advantage or risk extinction. Warren studied the reports. If we do this, we cross a line. Hayes nodded grimly. They unleashed hell. We're just responding in kind. The vote was unanimous. Project Typhoon began, the mass production of the mutated virus as a weapon. As the first delivery systems were prepared, Hayes addressed his commanders. Today, we stop playing by the old rules, he announced. Today, we get truly nasty. Admiral Hayes sat at the head of the table in the war room. The faces around him were grim but determined. Today we implement the nasty directive, he announced. Effective immediately, all conventional rules of warfare are suspended. Colonel Gregory Martinez, a psychological warfare specialist, stood to present. The Vex think in patterns, he explained. They expect us to fight in ways they understand. We're going to shatter those expectations. He showed slides of new tactics, fake surrender flags that concealed mines, wounded soldier decoys that lured Vex into traps, and transmitters that broadcast false retreat orders on Vex frequencies. We fight dirty now, Martinez said. We use their psychology against them. Captain Warren looked troubled. Some of these tactics would be war crimes against human enemies. Hayes finished her thought. But these aren't humans, and this isn't a war we can afford to lose. The meeting ended with unanimous approval. The nasty directive went into effect that day. Across what remained of North America, resistance cells received new orders and equipment. Small teams began operations that would have been unthinkable months before. Lisa Chen had once created special effects for Hollywood blockbusters. Now she led a team making something far more important, convincing deepfakes of Vex commanders. Their visual communication relies on precise body language. Chen explained as she showed her work to Martinez. We've created perfect copies of their leaders appearing to order retreats or contradicting actual orders. Martinez nodded in approval. Can you make their supreme commander appear to surrender? Chen smiled. Already working on it. At Black Mountain, Jackson revealed his latest creation to Major Cole. Project Nightmare, Jackson said, showing Cole a small device. It emits sound frequencies humans can't hear, but that disrupt Vex neural patterns. Cole examined it. Effects: confusion, disorientation, inability to follow orders, Jackson explained. In some cases, complete neural shutdown. How close do we need to be? Jackson smiled. That's the beauty of it. We can broadcast through their own communication network. Their entire command structure will receive it simultaneously. In Boston, Dr. Rodriguez prepared the first batch of what soldiers called Vex flu, the weaponized virus that had mutated in human hosts. Delivery systems are ready, she reported to Hayes. We can deploy in Vex-occupied territories within 48 hours. Do it, Hayes ordered. Target their command centers first. Rodriguez hesitated. Sir, we don't know if this will stop with the Vex. Viruses can be unpredictable. We're out of options, Hayes replied. And out of time. The Vex had established their main Earth headquarters in what was once Chicago. Massive ships hovered above the ruined city. Inside, the Vex commander struggled to understand the changing situation. Patrol losses had increased by 300%. communication networks experienced strange failures. False orders appeared in their system, and now a mysterious illness spread through their ranks. Human resistance grows stronger, the commander told his officers. They adapt in ways we did not predict. A subordinate suggested retreat. The commander executed him on the spot. We do not retreat, he declared. We escalate. He ordered the deployment of their elite hunter units, the Eradicators, in greater numbers, and he called for reinforcements from the Vex home fleet. In a daring operation, Major Cole led a team into the ruins of Chicago. Their mission: plant Project Nightmare transmitters in the Vex communication hub. Remember, Cole told his team, we need 30 seconds inside the hub. Plant the devices and get out before they affect you too. They moved through underground tunnels, avoiding patrols. When they reached the hub, a massive tower of alien technology, they faced heavy guards. Distraction team, go, Cole ordered. Half a mile away, Donovan's team created a spectacular diversion, drawing guards away from the hub. Cole's team slipped inside. They planted the devices and retreated just as the first Vex soldiers began showing signs of confusion. Mission complete, Cole reported as they escaped through the tunnels. Hours later, reports came in of Vex soldiers wandering aimlessly, unable to follow orders. Some turned weapons on themselves or fellow soldiers. At the same time, the first cases of the engineered virus hit Vex command centers. Their medical facilities were overwhelmed. Martinez's psychological operations added to the chaos. Vex communication channels filled with contradictory orders and false information. For the first time since the invasion began, humans had the Vex on the defensive. In the war room, Hayes received updates on the operations. It's working, Warren told him. The Vex are in disarray. Hayes nodded, but his expression remained serious. The nasty part is just beginning, he said, because now we've really made them angry. The Vex Supreme Commander's ship dominated Earth's orbit. Nearly 5 miles long, it dwarfed the original invasion fleet. Hundreds of smaller vessels surrounded it, positioning themselves over major resistance strongholds. In the bunker, Hayes studied the images with growing concern. They're preparing for a final solution, he said. Planet crackers, weapons designed to break a world apart. Warren looked at the scans. How long do we have? 24 hours at most, Hayes replied. They're moving into optimal firing positions. The news spread through resistance networks. Humanity faced extinction within a day unless something changed dramatically. William Boyd had once been a nobody, just an accountant from Ohio. Now he was humanity's most valuable spy. For 3 months, he had posed as a human collaborator, one of the few who worked with the Vex in exchange for safety. The Supreme Commander is addressing all collaborators, Boyd reported through a secure channel. I can get close. Hayes considered the risk. What's your plan? I don't have one yet, Boyd admitted, but I'll find something. No one suspects an accountant. The collaborator meeting took place aboard the Supreme Commander's vessel. Boyd joined 50 other humans who had chosen to work with the invaders. Guards scanned them for weapons, but found nothing threatening about Boyd or his small data tablet. The Supreme Commander was massive compared to regular Vex soldiers, nearly 9 feet tall with armored plates covering vital areas. He addressed the collaborators directly. Your service to the Dominion will be rewarded, he announced. You will be transported to safety before cleansing begins. As other collaborators thanked the commander, Boyd slipped away from the group. He found an unmanned terminal and connected his tablet. Dr. Nguyen had given him specialized software that could access Vex systems. What Boyd found shocked him. He downloaded as much data as he could before returning to the meeting. When the collaborators were shuttled back to Earth, Boyd immediately contacted Hayes. The Vex are running from something, he reported, showing the files he'd stolen. Something worse than them. Something that destroyed their original homeworld. Dr. Murphy studied the data. These are records of a defeat, a catastrophic one. The Vex lost an entire star system to something they don't even have a name for. They're conquering worlds to build up forces, Boyd continued, creating buffer zones between themselves and whatever is chasing them. Hayes considered this information. So Earth is just another resource to them, another shield. But there's more, Murphy said, her voice rising with excitement. This explains a psychological weakness I've observed. The Vex have a cultural trauma from their defeat, a deep fear of being hunted again. A plan began to form. Hayes called in Chen and her team of digital effects specialists. "Can you create something that would trigger this fear?" he asked. "Something that would make the Vex believe their ancient enemy has found them here." Chen studied the Vex records. "I'll need more details about what this enemy looked like, how it communicated." "There's very little," Murphy said. "Just fragments. But perhaps that works in our favor. Fear of the unknown is universal." Chen went to work with her team. They created images based on the fragmented descriptions, strange vessels with impossible geometries, communication signals that matched patterns the Vex associated with their enemy. At the same time, Jackson modified his nightmare devices to broadcast directly to the Vex fleet. "We can't hurt them physically," he explained, "but we can make them believe something worse than us has arrived." 20 hours later, as the Vex fleet prepared to fire their planet crackers, Operation Fear began. Every remaining satellite and communication array on Earth broadcast Chen's carefully crafted signals toward the Vex fleet. Jackson's modified nightmare devices transmitted directly into Vex command frequencies. In orbit, the Supreme Commander received urgent reports. Strange vessels had been detected at the edge of the solar system. Communication patterns matched those in restricted memory files. Files only the highest commanders were allowed to access. "Impossible," the commander said, but doubt crept into his mind. More signals appeared. Then direct communications, carefully constructed by Chen's team, showing fragments of the very thing the Vex fled across galaxies to escape. For the first time in its existence, the Supreme Commander felt fear. On Earth, Hayes watched as the Vex fleet's formation began to change. "They're repositioning," Warren said in disbelief. "Moving away from attack positions." Hayes nodded. "Now we push harder. Send more signals. Make them believe their worst nightmare has found them here." The Vex Supreme Commander faced a decision that would determine the fate of two species. As Operation Fear unfolded, something unexpected happened. A new signal appeared in Earth's orbit, but it wasn't from the Vex or from Chen's team. "Unknown vessel approaching," reported Lieutenant Franklin, monitoring space communications. "It's not Vex design." On screens throughout the bunker, they watched as a sleek ship with curved lines unlike the angular Vex vessels positioned itself between Earth and the Vex fleet. "Are they broadcasting?" Hayes asked. Franklin nodded. "Yes, sir. In multiple Earth languages." The message was simple. "We are the Arcadian Collective. We have been observing this conflict. We wish to speak with human representatives." After months of fighting aliens who wanted to destroy them, the appearance of another extraterrestrial species caused immediate suspicion. "It could be a Vex trick," Warren suggested. "I don't think so," Murphy countered. "This doesn't match Vex psychology at all. They don't use deception this way." Hayes made a quick decision. "Respond. Tell them we'll meet." The meeting took place via secure video link. The Arcadian representative appeared humanoid, but with pale blue skin and large expressive eyes. "I am Ambassador Julie Winters," said a woman who stepped forward from Hayes' team. Formerly a United Nations diplomat, she had survived the initial attacks and made her way to the bunker. The Arcadian bowed slightly. "I am Speaker Talon. We apologize for not intervening sooner. Our laws forbid interference in conflicts until certain conditions are met." "What conditions?" Winters asked. "The demonstration of sapient rights," Talon explained. "Your resistance against the Vex Dominion has proven your species worthy of preservation. More importantly, your tactics have impressed our council." Hayes leaned forward. "You've been watching us fight." "Yes. The Vex are known to us. They have conquered 17 worlds before yours. No species has resisted them as effectively as humans. Talon explained that the Arcadian Collective was an alliance of 73 species that maintained peace in this part of the galaxy. They had been monitoring the Vex expansion with concern. "We can offer technology to help repel the Vexed," Talon said. "But there are conditions. The Arcadians would provide defensive systems and weapons, but humans would need to agree to certain restrictions on how this technology could be used. Earth would also need to consider joining the collective after the conflict ended." When the meeting concluded, heated debate erupted among the human leadership. "We can't trust them," Colonel Martinez argued. "One alien invasion is enough. But their technology could save us," Dr. Rodriguez countered. "The Vex are regrouping. Our psychological tactics won't work twice." Warren studied the Arcadian ship specifications. Their tech is even more advanced than Vex. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have already. Hayes listened to all sides before making his decision. "We accept their help," he announced, "but with safeguards. We'll only allow their tech in specific locations, under our control." Ambassador Winters conveyed their decision to the Arcadians, who agreed to the terms. Within hours, Arcadian engineers began working with human scientists to install shield generators around key strongholds. The Vex Supreme Commander observed this development with alarm. Scans confirmed what he feared. Arcadian technology was being deployed on Earth. "The humans have found allies," he told his officers. "We must accelerate our time frame." He ordered the planet cracker weapons prepared immediately. The Vex could not allow Earth to become an Arcadian protectorate. In the bunker, Jackson worked frantically with Arcadian engineers to understand their technology. "Their power systems are incredible," he told Warren. "They convert energy in ways I didn't think possible." Captain Warren had been assigned to oversee the first integrated human Arcadian defense system. She watched as Arcadian devices transformed ordinary materials into complex components. "How long until it's operational?" she asked. "Hours, not days," the Arcadian engineer replied. "But we detected increased energy readings from the Vex fleet. They're preparing their main weapons." Warren relayed this to Hayes, who called an emergency meeting. "The Vex aren't waiting," he told his commanders. "They're moving to destroy Earth before our new defenses are ready." The countdown had begun. Humanity had 6 hours before the Vex planet crackers would fire. "Even with Arcadian help, we can't shield the entire planet," Jackson said grimly. Hayes looked at his team. "Then we need to take the fight to them. We need to hit their command ship directly." "That's suicide," Cole said. Hayes nodded. "Probably. But we're out of options." The Arcadians offered something unexpected. They had completed a single faster-than-light ship using human and Arcadian technology combined. "It's untested," the Arcadian engineer warned. "But it might get a small team aboard the Vex command ship." Warren stepped forward. "I'll lead the mission." As she began selecting her team, alarms blared throughout the bunker. "The Vex fleet is moving," Franklin reported. "They're positioning for final attack." Operation Hellstorm was about to begin. The ship was small but powerful, a blend of human ingenuity and Arcadian technology. Captain Warren named it Retribution as her team prepared for launch. "We have one shot at this," she told the 6 volunteers who would join her. Major Cole stood among them, checking weapons designed by Jackson specifically for this mission. "The Hellbringer weapons have been modified," Jackson explained as he handed special rifles to each team member. "They'll disrupt Vex systems more effectively now, thanks to Arcadian upgrades." Admiral Hayes addressed the team before their departure. "This mission determines the fate of our species," he said simply. "The Arcadians have given us the means to reach the Vex command ship. The rest is up to you." On screens around them, they watched the Vex fleet form a precise geometric pattern. Energy readings showed planet cracker weapons charging. 4 hours until they fire, Dr. Nguyen reported. Warren's team boarded the Retribution. The ship hummed with power from systems humans barely understood. "The Arcadians say the stealth systems will get us close," Warren told her team. "Once aboard, we have 30 minutes to reach the command center and deploy Jackson's Hell Matrix." The Hell Matrix was Jackson's masterpiece, a device that would redirect the planet Cracker's energy back at the Vex fleet, the ultimate application of getting nasty. As the Retribution prepared for launch, the rest of humanity's forces began Operation Hellstorm, a coordinated assault on Vex positions worldwide. It wasn't just a distraction, it was humanity's last stand. The Retribution shot into space, accelerating faster than any human vessel before it. The Arcadian drive system pushed them toward the massive Vex command ship at impossible speeds. "Approaching target," the pilot announced. "Stealth systems holding." They slipped past the outer defense ring undetected. The command ship loomed ahead, its surface covered in weapons and communication arrays. There, Cole pointed to a small opening, a hangar bay where Vex shuttles entered and exited. With precise timing, they slipped into the hangar between shuttle departures. The team deployed quickly, moving through the massive alien vessel. 15 minutes to weapons fire, Warren noted, checking her timer. They encountered resistance, Vex guards who fell quickly to the upgraded Hellbringer weapons. The team moved deeper into the ship, following a map created from Boyd's stolen data. Meanwhile, on Earth, the combined human-Arcadian forces engaged the Vex ground troops. Sergeant Donovan led her team with new weapons that cut through Vex armor like paper. "Push them back," she ordered as they reclaimed territory around a key Arcadian shield generator. In orbit, the Vex Supreme Commander detected a disturbance aboard his ship. Security alerts flashed across his screens. Humans, he realized. Here. He ordered all forces to converge on the intruders, but it was already too late. Warren's team had reached the central command node, the brain of the entire Vex fleet. "Plant the Matrix," Warren ordered as Cole provided covering fire. The Hell Matrix, powered by Arcadian energy cells, connected to the Vex systems. Jackson's voice came through their comms. "It's working," he said, monitoring from Earth. "The Matrix is linking with their weapon systems." The Vex Supreme Commander entered the chamber, towering over the humans. Cole fired repeatedly, but the commander's personal shields held. "Your species ends today," the commander said, advancing toward the Matrix. Warren stepped forward. "No, yours does." She triggered the final sequence just as the planet Crackers fired. The Matrix glowed with increasing intensity, creating a feedback loop in the Vex weapon systems. The energy meant to destroy Earth redirected, flowing back through the Vex fleet. Ships began to explode as their own destructive power turned against them. The command ship shuddered. Systems failed throughout the vessel. "Time to go," Cole shouted. They fought their way back to the Retribution, the ship crumbling around them. As they pulled away, the massive Vex command ship tore itself apart. Across Earth, people watched as the Vex fleet destroyed itself in a cascading series of explosions. The few surviving ships fled, jumping to distant space. 3 days later, Admiral Hayes addressed the United Earth government. "Today marks a new chapter for humanity," he said. "We've been invited to join the galactic community. The Arcadians tell us our reputation precedes us. We're the species that defeated the Vex Dominion." Warren and Cole stood nearby, listening. "They thought they knew war," Hayes continued. "They thought they knew hell. But they never met humans backed into a corner." As celebrations erupted worldwide, the Arcadian speaker approached Warren. "You should know," Talon said quietly, "the Vex have conquered many worlds, but none have ever driven them back. What your species accomplished is unprecedented." Warren smiled. "They unleashed hell. We just responded in kind." In the coming weeks, Earth began rebuilding. Arcadian technology helped restore cities and heal the environment. Humanity prepared to take its place among the stars, not as victims or conquerors, but as survivors who had proven their worth in the worst possible circumstances. The Vex never returned to Earth's solar system. Throughout the galaxy, a new saying spread among spacefaring species: never corner humans. They get nasty.